The topic today is data democratization. I believe you are going to consider this is a very strategic and important and relevant topic for your organizations, and then this will be the main topic we'll be discussing today. So going to the agenda, and for those of you who don't know Informatica, I wanted to take this opportunity to provide a brief introduction, a brief overview of Informatica, what we do for business, and what is our relationship with DIS as the most strategic partner probably in Europe and the distributor managing our business in Russia. Then we will talk about data democratization, our overview, what it means for us, what it means for our customers. So for those of you who don't know Informatica, Informatica is the enterprise cloud data management leader. We focus on all things data management, and looking at the details, we have solutions around data integration. We have solutions around data engineering, which is basically data integration for big data environments. We have solutions around data quality and data governance. We have master data management. We have the enterprise data catalog, which is a glossary of business terms that organizations will use to speak a single language, a single voice, so the business concepts means the same for all the different users in an enterprise. We'll talk about data privacy, how to protect the data, because it's a strategic asset. It has to be protected, it has to be safe. And then iPaaS, and I left this concept to discuss at the end, and it is the entire platform of Informatica moving to the cloud. So we'll be able to provide solutions in a hybrid world, being best of breed in data management, all things data management on premise, as well as being best of breed in all things data management in the cloud. Gartner is positioning Informatica as the leader in every single category of our products. And this is quite remarkable. So best solution for data integration, best solution for metadata management, which is the foundation for data governance, best solution for master data management, best solution for data quality, and best solution for enterprise integration in the cloud. And to me, what is super important components of our solution is the intelligent data platform, which is the foundation of our technology. It is the part that is putting together the different pieces of the puzzle. Then we have the best of breed products that we have discussed, the ones that Gartner has recognized as the best of breed in the industry. And on top of that, we've built data solutions. And what it means is we've learned from customers using our technology, let's say, for instance, around our master data management technology, we've learned how customers are doing customer management. And we have packaged a solution called Customer 360, which is the foundation of our MDM product together with all the knowledge we have around customer management. Another example could be Product 360. And with Product 360, what we do is we provide all the functionality regarding to product information management or data governance. And in this particular case, what we will discuss today in depth, which is data democratization, would be another example. So Informatica technology is based on a platform which is metadata driven and it's intelligent, and we will discuss why it's intelligent, because it's artificial intelligence and machine learning driven. This is component number one, best of breed solutions, and then data solutions built on top of our platform, gathering the knowledge that we've got from our customers. The intelligence in the intelligent data platform is powered by CLAIRE, which is the engine of our technology, and it's based on artificial intelligence and machine learning. CLAIRE will help you get data from different data sets and maybe give you recommendations in terms of, is this data set related to this other? Is this particularly connected with another one? So maybe some conclusions that you cannot do manually, given the exponential growth of data nowadays, then a machine learning and artificial intelligence engine based on algorithms based on this technology will help you identify relationships with data that might not be trivial or might not be visible without a lot of research. So this is one of the key values of our platform. We are the leader in the industry. I mentioned this at the beginning. 85% of the top 100 companies worldwide are using Informatica. And something is sure, managing data is getting harder and harder, much harder than before. Why? It's because digital transformation came together with explosion in data volumes. As now we are storing information coming from many different places, the volumes of data are growing exponentially, and it becomes a challenge to make sense out of this data. This is why technologies like big data and cloud are getting more and more popular, because they will allow you to collect and operationalize some of these huge data and expansion volumes that we are seeing today. New users. In the past, only data analysts and data scientists were getting access to the data. Today, with the topic of the day, data democratization, literally everyone in a company should have some sort of access to data depending on their business function to make sure that he or she makes fact-based decisions that will contribute to add value in the enterprise. Also, new types of data. In the past, it was just access to a database. Today, it's mobile devices, it's Internet of Things, sensors, it's social data, social network data. We have a significant growth also in terms of new types of data we need to manage. Also, data in the cloud, we introduced this briefly, but now as companies are looking at modernizing their infrastructure and getting flexibility in the way they're managing their information, cloud is getting more and more popular in this industry. And this is giving an extra degree of complexity. And then the machine learning and artificial intelligence thing. As I mentioned earlier, for every machine learning and artificial intelligence algorithm to produce the right result, it needs the right data, properly prepared and properly ready with the right data quality. Otherwise, the algorithm will produce a result that will not be accurate. If the input is not accurate, the output will not be accurate. That's one dimension. Another dimension might be that as the explosion in the data volume is going like that, as we discussed earlier, we need some sort of automatization so end users will be able to map all the different data sets and extract relationships that the different data sets have. So, the complexity around data management today is very different than the one we used to have a few years back. As such, the role of the CDO, the Chief Data Officer, is shifting. In the past, the CDO used to be focused on risk and compliance management to provide information to the regulator. Today, the CDO has a much more sophisticated and business value job. They are invited to participate in the key meetings of the key executives to drive revenue growth, or cost reduction, or margin expansion, or talent management, or corporate governance. Why is that? It's because as data becomes more and more relevant for every single line of business, then the CDO is breaking the silos across different business units, making sure that the data is democratized and making sure that everybody is using data to make fact-based decisions in the business. Also, it is very important to know that the role of the CDO, apart from breaking silos across different departments, is to drive a data-driven culture within the company. So if we look at the strategic importance of the role of the CDO today versus just regulatory compliance in the past is pretty significant. And then one study that the MIT did, 80% of organizations with a high ability to innovate have strong data sharing practices, both internally and externally. And as we are moving to the next generation in the business, then we realize that maybe the differentiator of our business is in the data and how we share it internally and how we share it externally. So this is why the role of the CDO has changed, and it's now more important and more strategic than ever. And something else to take into consideration, the velocity that the requirements in the business are changing is dramatically increased versus the past. Now, for every company that used to plan to year 2020 at the beginning of the fiscal exercise, How does it compare to the plan today? Well, it's maybe because of the pandemic, but maybe because of how the market is shifting. Companies need to reinvent themselves and react very, very quickly. And the CDO has an instrumental role in making that happen, because using the data as a strategic asset for the company, as this thing that is going to break the silos across different lines of business, we need to make sure that this happens very rapidly to catch up with the speed of change in the business. Let me give you a couple of examples of why data is producing more value for the different lines of business. Let's pick, for instance, the marketing team. Why data is going to help marketing to drive innovation. Let's pick the example of the personalized next best offer, just as an example. Imagine a retailer. Imagine that that retailer has information about consumer patterns, and they have information about the different promotions available, and we are capable to identify that maybe this customer who entered that store might be interested in that personalized offer. By putting together the different data sets in real time together with artificial intelligence, we'll be able to proactively do the next best offer for that particular customer. So it's one example of data-driven, fact-based decisions together with algorithms of artificial intelligence and machine learning, all working together, producing innovation and giving a superior customer service. Another example could be for procurement. Imagine a multinational that has suppliers in different geographies. Imagine that they're negotiating with a supplier certain conditions in one geography and different conditions in another geography. By not putting together the information coming from the different geographies, they are losing negotiation power, and negotiation power means more cost for the company, and this is affecting the big objective for the executive teams. Now, talking about the executive teams, imagine that the management reporting does not contain accurate data, clean data. So most likely, the strategic decisions that they will make will be wrong because they were based on assumptions that were not correct. So these are just a few examples of how data democratization can help companies to go to the next step in terms of business value, innovation, and competitive advantage. Drivers of data governance. Out of the companies, the hundreds of companies we are talking to for data democratization, some of them have shared with us 1, 2, 3, or 4 of these drivers. Most of companies are talking about insights and analytics. Specifically in the context of data democratization, we need to provide some sort of self-service analytics so consumers will be able to get access to the data they need. And they need to make sure that this data is clean and is relevant for the business decision they're going to make. And then we need to be able to provide predictive analytics and make sure that we transform the company to become a fact-based decision-making company with data-driven decisions moving forward. So insights and analytics is one of the key drivers when talking about data democratization. The second one, we started talking about that, regulation and compliance. If you want to report to the regulator the data that you have, you need to explain how you came to those conclusions. You need to explain what data transformations you had so the regulator will understand that you are compliant. Another driver, business enablement. We mentioned that one of the key roles of the CDO is to drive transformation, to break the silos, and to build a culture within the company around data transformation and data-driven fact-based analysis. So this will require to manage change. This will require to use data as a competitive advantage to create a better customer experience. This will require to identify who are the different personas, the different individuals within the company with their different responsibilities to make sure that they have the data they need when they need it. And then digital transformation. We mentioned this earlier. As the data is growing and the volumes are expanding, we need to make sure that we have a proper governance in place to be able to manage that amount of information and make it easy for end users to consume. So these are the 4 key drivers that we've seen in our business. This is why organizations are now focused on data democratization. Now, it is important to know that in terms of organization, data democratization is not a technical problem. It's not a problem of the data management team. It's not a problem of the business. It's not a problem of the data governance team. In reality, it's a problem of all of them, and they need to be equal in the discussion. Why is that important? The technical guys need to understand that the business priorities of the company and the strategic direction of the company is this, so they will make sure that they will provide the data that is available to fulfill those strategic initiatives. And they need to understand. If they don't understand, they're just providing information, but they don't know what's the value of the information they are providing. Equally, for the business side, it is paramount to understand the data that is available in the company, how clean it is, how trustable it is. Otherwise, they will make decisions that will be based on wrong assumptions and the outcomes might be wrong. And then for the data governance team, they need to produce the framework that will fulfill the business needs today and will be ready for the future needs that companies will have. So we are looking at data democratization as these three teams coming together, speaking in single language, understanding why data is going to become a competitive advantage moving forward. Something else you need to know, and I was very surprised when I learned about this information. Still today, some data analysts spend 80% of their time preparing the data, searching the data, and only 20% of the time making decisions, only 20% of the time producing the incremental value for the business. This is definitely a significant room for improvement for many companies. 25% of useful data was tagged in 2018, and today it has improved a little bit, but not so much. What this means is that the other 75% is data that companies have that doesn't make any sense. It's data that they have stored, but it's not producing any business value, is not producing any business insight. And then we also learned that 60% of organizations are challenged by data quality, meaning they don't trust the data. And if they don't trust the data, they don't trust the conclusions that they will make out of the data management, data analysis. And the last metric that was super concerning for me, because 13% of tagged data was used for analysis. And we said earlier that only 25% of the data is tagged. So 13% of 25% is what's really used for making decisions that will transform the business. So when you look at these metrics, you see that the room for improvement, the opportunity is just huge. And this justifies why data democratization is so important. I like this slide a lot because sometimes we tend to talk about end users the same way, and they're not the same. We need to differentiate data scientists, developers, engineers, citizen integrators, citizen analysts, and consumers. They are different by nature. So data scientists, for instance, it's a small community with a significant technical skill. And then going to the other extreme, the consumers is a huge population with very limited technical skills. And the challenge is, from the data democratization perspective, the challenge is how do we manage to provide every user with the data they need, given their technical skills and their needs for the business. This is the new self-service model, and this is the new opportunity that is going to change the game when looking at data democratization. And as we can see, we have two buckets, the set of the technical users with certain needs and the set of the business users with different needs. At the end, all of them are talking about the same thing, but their approach is different because their understanding of the data is different. And in a data democratization solution, we need to provide each user what they really need for the business. What benefits can we expect? Greater collaboration across the enterprise, find relevant data assets, reduced cost of operations, greater trust and compliance, and companies that implemented data democratization successfully are helping their users to build, operate, consume, measure, and control their business in a much more effective manner. Going to the next chapter, business benefits. Why all of that? So what can we expect as a business benefit if we implement a data democratization solution successfully? And nowadays, I can tell you, most of the IT projects will get canceled or delayed if we cannot justify what is the business value and the business benefit and why it's going to help companies to differentiate against the competition in these difficult times. So one business benefit is the benefit of a scale. And then if we look at regulatory reporting just as an example, in the past, departmental analysis could be done by human catalog creation. It was costly, but doable. At the end of the day, the compliance team could get together, could define the policies, and then maybe get it done. Not an enterprise solution, but something departmental, it worked. Today, we're looking at the enterprise scope with the topics we discussed earlier, like data explosion and new types of data and new types of user. It's not doable. It's just impossible to create a solution that will be enterprise-wide without automatization. It requires automatization and is one of the benefits of data democratization. Having an artificial intelligence and machine learning engine that will allow to automate some of the tasks around data management. Another benefit, we said it earlier, business first. And we said that earlier as well. These projects are not technical projects managed by IT. These are not data management projects per se. These projects require the business to come together with the data governance team as well as the IT team and then produce the desirable outcomes. So our solution is designed to keep the decision-making power in the hands of the business. And it's automating tasks so end users can query the system and get access to the information that they need that is relevant for their decision. Another benefit, consistency of the platform, automation, everything that is related to agility. And let's take as an example a car manufacturing company. That one product line can create all sorts of different cars. Once you have the model, you can identify it and you can reuse it with ease and automation and provide an agile network or framework that will allow flexibility while maintaining a consistency. So you create the process and you repeat the process and you simplify the process, and everything is data-driven based on business concepts that don't change, or everybody understands the same concepts across the enterprise. Benefit of extensibility, one understanding, deeper dives as needed. So one top-level overview that allows you to see enough to gain context and improve understanding and collaboration. And we need to see more. Maybe we can start with a narrow approach, but as we incorporate more and more data sets in the system, we'll be able to see more of the different lines of business. And we were mentioning earlier that it's key for the CDO and his team to break the silos across different lines of business. It is very important for the department to know how their information is affecting the business downstream. If I am in marketing and I change the design of my campaigns, this is going to produce a different sales strategy and this is going to produce a different revenue line. I need to understand how changes I'm making within my department are affecting the rest of the departments in the company. And then another benefit of extensibility, the technological fit. And it is important to know that these solutions will not cancel and replace existing solutions that the companies have. These solutions will work on top of the applications and architectures that companies have, and then they will orchestrate and organize everything in a single framework, and it will provide all the business benefits that we've been discussing before. And this is based on a data governance foundation. So let's talk about Informatica. We talked at the beginning that we have different products that were best of breed, recognized by Gartner. We also talk about an intelligent platform that was driven by an engine that was artificial intelligence and machine learning driven, fact-based. In reality, the data democratization solution for Informatica is made of different components. One is the data governance component, which is the part of the software that will allow users to understand what data we have, what does it mean, what is the quality, where it's coming from, is this appropriate and ready to use, how can I get access to it, and who are the personas that can help me understand that data and get access to it. This is a significant part of the data governance solution. Also, together with the catalog, we need to understand the business terms, and the business terms mean the same for everybody in the enterprise. We need to understand the quality of the data, and we need to ensure that we automate the data quality rules. So when a user is in front of a data set, he or she needs to know what is the quality of that data set, because depending on that quality, the outcome will have an equivalent quality. If we don't know if the data is clean, most likely the outcome, we don't know if it will be clean or not. And then privacy, it is very important, specifically in regulatory compliance, but also having data as a strategic asset. Is very important to know that this data has to be protected. So all of these are different components of the data governance platform. And something else, when we are talking about the intelligence governance platform, we need to understand that it has two layers, a business layer and a technical layer. And why is that important? It's because data governance for the end users means business concepts, means things like programs or policies or projects or initiatives, whilst for IT, it means applications, databases, tables, indexes, and the data governance solution must be able to put together these two worlds. So when an end user is asking for customer data for a campaign, for instance, then the technical layer will be able to identify what is this data set, how clean it is, how can I get access to it, and then provide that information to the business layer of the data governance solution. So far, we've discussed that the data democratization solution has one component of data governance, both at the business level and the technical level. We have discussed that this solution has three subcomponents. One is the data quality, another one is the catalog, the business glossary, and another one is the privacy. And what's missing is the portal, the framework that will allow users to get access to it. And this is what we call Action Data Marketplace. So specifically in the Action Data Marketplace, it is a portal where the data stewards will be able to create the data sets and put those data sets available. Then the data owner will be able to navigate what's available and download the data that is relevant for them. And the consumers will be able to track orders, get fulfillment, and they will be able to query the system and say, hey, I want a data set for product promotions in that particular geography with that data set, and then the system will record the request, and then the data stewards will provide this information in a way that is governed and controlled. So we guarantee that the end user will get the data that they want, exactly how they want it to make their business solution, and he will not spend any single minute in data preparation. Somebody else will do that for him. And this is what will create data democratization, because remember this slide, not everyone is the same. Not everyone is the same. Consumers, they're not technology savvy, and they need to get what they want in some sort of self-service model. Whilst the scientists, they are way more sophisticated, they understand where the data is, where it's coming from, the quality, relationships, etc. And it is their job to facilitate that data access to everybody in the community. Some examples could be Joanne Atkins, data steward, she publishes the data that is governed, and she can guarantee that everything that will be available for the company has the proper rules in place, because she prepared the data and that data is going to be available as a subset for the different users. We operationalize data democratization. So, key highlights. We are talking about enabling organizations to turn data into actionable information. So the solutions that we've been discussing so far will provide a business-friendly environment that will foster collaboration between the lines of business, data governance, and data management. Why? Because we have this component called action that will allow customers to understand how the data proliferates around or across the corporation, and we will be able to identify who is the owner of what data set, and we will understand who owns what and who pertains to what, and what is the right quality of the information that we have in the company. To have an infer glossary, to be able to do business-driven searches, to have an artificial intelligence and machine learning domain scanning the system with the data marketplace where users get access to the data in a controlled manner, ensuring data privacy, ensuring data quality and data quality automation, ensuring workflow collaboration, and being able to do impact analysis. And then the last slide, Informatica's governance and privacy framework. Thank you so much for your time today. Hope you enjoyed the presentation. Bye-bye.